Hey,
Hey, wow, it's good to be back. There's no I feel like we've been gone for quite a bit for quite a
yeah, we had
while.
a weird hiatus. We had the Christmas break, then we had our first episode a couple of weeks ago, then we had another break.
Yeah, we've just
Just
been
due to the
busy.
fact
I've
we've
been
been
busy.
busy
Yeah.
doing other stuff, working on other projects, living life,
Mhm.
feeling fine, getting that grime. I don't know,
Wow.
feeling fine,
Yeah, you summed it
working
up.
on the grind,
Okay, we got it. We got it now. You can
working
stop.
on our
Stop.
brine. I'm working on a brine right now. I'm in the garden. I'm working on my time.
Did you say you're working on O'Brien?
No, my brine, like you brine
Oh, you're
stuff,
fine.
like cooking. And this is the Seen Anything Good podcast lately. So something I've been watching is cooking videos on YouTube. So I'm not saying I'm a master chef, but I know how to cook.
Are you serious? I can't tell if you're joking or not sometimes. You're like, are you serious right now? And then you just like, no, he's joking. He's screwing with me.
I never joke. I'm serious all the time. What I do wrong?
Nothing. It's good to be back. It's good to be back on the show. This is episode 2 of Seen Anything Good Lately with your host H Dog and Special K. Yeah,
AKA Young Brian.
So, like we do always on this show, we review films, TV shows, anything happening in pop culture. Yeah, like we said before, we've been on for a little bit of a hiatus, so we're hankering to get back into it. We got a couple of goodies coming up, so
yeah,
we're gonna jump straight into it. Do I ask you or do you ask me?
You recommended it.
Yeah, so I ask you.
Yes.
Yes, and so Hitesh, have you seen anything good lately?
Have I? Yes, I have. Have you watched The Holy Mountain?
Yes, I have. Yes,
you have? What a coincidence. This is crazy. And we both watched the same thing. It's like we rehearsed this.
Well, yeah.
It's like we had about 2 weeks to watch this movie.
Oh, yeah. Just about 2 weeks. But we didn't because we've already seen it.
Yeah, that's how we work.
So the first film is Holy Mountain. Came out in 1973. And it's directed by Alejandro Jodorowsky. People may be familiar with him because he had a documentary come out a couple of years back about how he wanted to create the Dune films.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I'm kind of keen to watch the documentary now.
Oh yeah, I saw it years back before I even.
I'm pretty sure you downloaded it or you gave this to me back in the days.
I did back in uni, right?
Yeah, and I think it was one of those things where it just like, yeah, I'll get to it. At the time I wasn't really familiar with Dune. I knew there was a Dune, but I didn't know really what it was. But now with this whole resurgence of Dune and like a Dune series on HBO Max, I'd be interested. And now after watching Holy Mountain, I'd be keen to see his vision of what we were going to get.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I got to know him. And if you watch the documentary, because it is largely about him.
Yeah.
You get to see like you see how he was able to make Holy Mountain. What kind of person makes a film for like? What kind of person makes Holy Mountain? You watch that documentary and you're like, oh, it makes sense. This person is very unique.
I'm surprised he's still alive.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, yeah.
He's old.
He's like,
and he's still making stuff.
Yeah, he used to have books, comic books, put out with Moebius, famous French graphic artist, designer, cartoonist. He put out some graphic novels called like Inkle. You may have seen it at the library. But yeah, so he wrote and directed Holy Mountain. I believe the music was by, the cinematography was by Raphael I'm not looking at notes. It's like Corkity, Raphael Corkity. This movie is like, okay, give me a well, your overview of this film.
It's a very artistic, bright movie. Like the aesthetic of it, and then when I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I think that's a good thing to do for a movie like this. I didn't know too much about it beforehand. I watched it. I got into it. I'm like, wow, there's a lot going on, especially in the first like 5 minutes of the movie, where the alchemist dude has got the two ladies in front of him, shaves her head off, takes everything off clothes wise, and like cleanses him. And that was a nice setup to the movie. It got me thinking, okay, this is going to be more of a religious kind of film in terms of exploring and finding yourself. But this movie touches on more than just religion. It touches on commercialism. It touches on materialism and all these other things that I don't know if this was. It was obviously a big issue in the early 70s. And then seeing the movie and understanding the influence it had on one of my favorite artists, controversial at the moment, I know, Mr. Kanye West. So watching this movie and seeing, oh, this is something that he's done on a stage design on the Yeezus tour, or this is something he's done in a short movie he did in Runaway, or this is a kind of aesthetic that he had in his runway shows and stuff like that. Seeing that influence and seeing that reference point really hooked me into the movie. And I've seen other interviews where he's talked about this movie and he's talked about the director. And it was a really good movie. It was a little bit like Citizen Kane, where it's part of cinema history and part of history that I didn't actually know anything about. So it's good to watch. Yeah, what did you think?
Well, I just want to go off what you just said. You're right. Like, because I had known about this film going back to uni when I discovered that documentary, and it was basically I had known it had that the Holy Mountain had these kind of what's what I'm looking for, huge influences in pop culture. Like I see I decided like you said it before, the visuals and the colors are so bold and so kind of almost like iconic, but you become transfixed and you just keep staring at these images and symbols, and you can't help but draw you in. And I see it all the time in video clips. Like every time I watch like music videos, I'm like, that looks like Holy Mountain. Yeah. Like there's that great rainbow hallway that the alchemist is in, played by Alejandro himself, plays the alchemist, and he basically, that hallway with that rainbow hallway was just like, I remember seeing that in the documentary back in uni, and I was like, it never left my brain. And then I would see like, I think it's like sometimes like I think it was like a Taylor Swift video or something, and the hallways that she dances in and stuff like that, like, and it's got like, it's unassuming long hallways with bright vibrant colors. I'm just like, this looks like a Holy Mountain. Like I see references to it all the time. I think maybe Neon Demon came out some years back. That movie kind of reminded me of this film, of the blood and just letting it drip out, and the camera just keeps still, but we just have to kind of the camera lingers on the image of certain graphic images. Yeah, so like I always wanted to finally watch this film. You can like, it's one of those films where by the end of the film, I told myself, and this is what this film and our next episode's film is gonna has in common. It's that and like you said, Citizen Kane, you could rewatch these again and find something new.
And pick something new, yeah.
Like I was just like, there was so much going on, and I was like, I could just like I could watch this again and just like pick new things, find new things I wouldn't notice. I think it's a visually stunning film. One of the first things I noticed immediately was how expensive it looks.
Yeah.
Because you're going to different locations, all those extras. There were
all the props, all the set
all the
pieces.
props, all the wardrobes, and I was like, this is insane. Like this is an insane level of budget.
But this wasn't his first movie though. This was like
I don't think so. Yeah.
This was.
I think this was his first big feature project. I think, and most successful, because I know that from the Jodorowsky documentary that this was the film that got him Dune. Like because he after the success of Holy Mountain, which was it's not a we should note that it's a surrealist kind of symbolic, metaphorical film, and you can it largely in the it kind of like it's a it did well in galleries in the artistic community.
Yeah, it's an artsy movie. It's not for mainstream viewing. It's not something you'd watch at like you go to the cinema like an event or something. I mean, I'm sure they've got screenings now, but like at the time they weren't playing it at like major.
Yeah. But I would say over time, since 1973, it has pushed its way into the mainstream. Because clearly its influence can be seen in, like you said, Kanye West's music. I can see it in music video clips all the time.
Yeah. I think I was watching the video clip for Zombies by the Cranberries. And now thinking back, I don't know if this is intentional or if this was even a thing, but I see kind of like points of it. I don't know. I don't know if the director was influenced by it, but
like people in the arts community, they usually they grow up and they become like music video producers and stuff, and they're like, I wanted like a Holy Mountain kind of vibe, and that's what they get. The story, I think we should kind of, I don't know if you want to go into it, is quite it shouldn't there is a connective narrative, like there is a narrative that goes through it, but that's not the point of the film. No. The point is to
examine each kind of aspect of society, whether it's war, commercialism, materialism, religion. It's exploring each aspect of society, and even tourism. There's a really powerful message about tourism in this movie. It's like, what I hate to say this because people say all the time. It really isn't about the narrative or the journey. It's about the exploration. Oh no, it's not about the getting to the end of the film. It's about the exploration, and you as an audience member gets to interpret, devour, and try and process in your mind what these images and symbols. And there is a narrative, but it's super kind of like you get to interpret. Everyone gets an opportunity, like what you think about the film in the narrative will probably won't match what I'm thinking. And what is this, like all these symbols mean? There's so many symbols, so many motifs and images. I was just kind of left like, I need to watch it again because I want to. It was almost like it was written on ayahuasca or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. He probably was, because he was into psychedelics and stuff.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So like, he probably was on some sort of drug. Also, if you are planning to watch this movie, it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. Oh,
there's a lot of nudity. Like,
I think I thought that the nudity I was fine with.
Yeah.
Because I'm disgusting. I'm a disgusting human being. No. But what was worse was the I think we should discuss, for anyone who's like vegan or who's against like animal cruelty, because this is like created at a time where you can kind of get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of mutilated animals, and you're actually watching it on film, and like so certain little critters getting exploited.
Yeah.
There's skinned certain animals being crucified on crucifixes. So if you're not like, if you can't stomach that, like just a little like warning going into that.
Yeah, like I think we needed to do that warning if you were planning to watch, because this movie is essentially 50 years old. So there are a lot of things you can get away with that you couldn't get away with now. And as a viewer of movies, we're conditioned. Modern cinema is completely different to what cinema was 50 years ago. So you're warned.
Yeah, you're warned. It was like
but it is definitely something that you should obviously watch if you're a fan of cinema. And
if you're a fan of cinema, if you're a fan of good cinema photography by like Raphael, Kodiki is, I think, Kokiri, I think his name is Kokiri. Raphael. Anyway, Raphael, he I think we could go on for hours about just how visual it is.
Yeah.
Like straight from the get-go, I was like, is this the movie's beginning? Like it begins like kind of like in the desert thing where he's lying on the main character's laying, and I was just like, this is how it starts, and it's just a bombardment of certain images, and you just keep going and keep going. I was like, it's quite intense, quite a lot, but you could like, how do I put this? There's so much creativity that there's more creativity in maybe the first half an hour than most films we see at the cinema. You know what I mean?
Well, in the last like decade, or longer than that. You know what I'm saying?
Just like visually, I was like so engaged with, like, if it wasn't the colors, it was like the symbols. Like, what do these young women mean? What does the monkey mean?
What about that? What about the first scene where when they're in the city, and there's all those naked bodies, like it's obviously soldiers and stuff, and you just see people taking photos of like these dead soldiers. Yeah, that's the part of tourism. Like when you go to a city, like a new city, and you see like a monument of like a general or a soldier or something, especially like in America when you see like a statue of a Confederate general, and then you take photos. That's what I got out of it. This is like us as tourists taking photos of like really horrible things that have happened in history.
We become these kind of like
we kind of celebrate it almost, like we celebrate more.
We become these kind of like emotionless or kind of like this like unhearted exhibitionists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We only here to see and examine, but we don't participate.
No.
Because we just want it touches on a lot of things that's happening today. We all we post everything on Instagram, but people are being hurt and they're being killed. Like we all just kind of want that, like, for that people to they either want the image to remember where they were at a certain time.
Yeah, it's almost like it's also a thing, like especially in today's society. It's like, I'm woke. I hate that term, but I'm woke. I know what's happening in the world. I live in my little corner of the world. I live in my little bubble, but I know what's happening around the world. I know that there's a war in Russia, and Russia's invaded Ukraine.
Yeah,
there's also a sense of that, and that movie, that scene, kind of embodies what we're going through now.
Yeah.
But I thought that scene was pretty powerful.
But yeah, I'm like, I have no doubt in my mind that this film is going to continue to be, like I said, it's left the world of indie art house. What's the word I'm looking for? It's left that kind of area, that the fringe arts area, and it's moved into the mainstream, because I have no doubt in my mind that from like it's going to keep influencing like artists. So like
all the other thing it's going to do, like the example I gave of Kanye West, right? Say like a kid who watched the Kanye West Runaway video, or the Yeezus performance, they see that and like, oh, I want to reference that in my work, whether it's film or music or whatever, and they don't know that they're actually being influenced by something else. They just know that they're being influenced by that one thing, and that's something that happens in music as well. So like, there's a rapper in the 90s might do a sample of like an old I don't know, Ray Charles song, and then 20 years later, what we're up to now, a young kid will reference that 90s hip hop song and that Ray Charles sample, and then but they think they're just they know that they're just sampling that 90s song. They don't realize that the influence of Ray Charles is being pushed onto them, which is pretty amazing as well. It's how art keeps living, or good art keeps living.
Yeah. So that's basically, I'm not a big art house kind of person.
Neither. It's one of those genres where you really like it, or you're gonna be like, this is very pretentious.
I didn't think it was very pretentious at all. I was like, because it seems like,
I think because it's so celebrated that it's not pretentious.
Yes. Oh no, I'm coming from the angle that it's so like.
But at the time, it must have been pretentious.
It seems like there's a lot of thought going into it. When you see something pretentious, it's like it's very kind of like the surreal and bold without the meaning behind it. Whereas if you watch this film, there's so much thought going into it. There's no way this person could have was stroking an ego. This person was thinking about the creative process, organically portraying a narrative with these rich visuals. It seemed for me, it just seemed like there's too much thought going on behind everything for it to be. So you see something pretentious, you think of something like I'm
gonna give an example of a. Okay. So I just watched Belfast. That movie's filmed in black and white.
Yeah.
To me, a movie that's filmed in black and white is like it's trying to be pretentious, and the movie isn't pretentious in any kind of. It's not pretentious at all. But because like if I just saw the trailer black and white, it's kind of pretentious. It kind of seems pretentious.
Yeah. It seemed like a very surface level.
Yeah. But when you watch the movie, you're like, okay, there's an actual story. These which I like.
There's a reason behind.
The
reason
black and
behind
whiteness.
choosing these decisions, these choices are made. But yeah.
Or French Dispatch is another one that I think is a pretentious movie, and not a very good one.
You know what? That's a video for another day.
Well, it's not necessarily a bad movie. It's an okay.
No. Listen, I hear where you're coming from. I know exactly what you're talking about. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, we could go on for ages. I don't disagree with what you just said.
Maybe we should do it. Maybe we should do something. Maybe our next. Well, let's sidetrack this conversation. Maybe we should talk about this later. But
so Holy Mountain. I'm not a huge art house person, but it's been on my radar. I see it referenced in film all the time. Big directors, big artists, and and clearly musical artists have all referenced it and influenced it. So it was on my list of things I wanted to watch, and it was good to get it off my list. I'm kind of keen to watch it again. I can't be like I'm not like I said, I'm not a big art house kind of person, kind of thing. But like I would, if someone is watching that in a room, I would probably sit down and watch it again because I just want
I would watch it in a cinema. I watched it on my TV, and my TV's not like a small TV. It's relatively big, but I'm like I wish I watched this like on a projector, and I could hear like the sound of the projector, and I can. I think that would be
we both watched it. We both watched it on on whatever devices we had. this is what that our next episode's film has in common. It deserved to be watched on the big screen, and I was like, I felt like if it was on a big screen, it was definitely, because it's like I said, it's not about the narrative, it's more about the journey and getting to the end.
Yeah, it's
it's not about the end, it's about the journey.
It's the experience as well.
Yes, it's such an experience. Like you just
and with a film like that,
diving into a feature of creativity.
There's certain movies where you want to watch this like with people, and you want to watch it like on a big screen, just not being distracted as well. I think that's like one of the greatest things about the movies is you can't look at your phone, you can't look at your watch.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really get up. Well, you can get up and stuff, but like you don't really want to get up that much. You're just focused on the film. Yeah.
Because that screen is so big, it encapsulates you and takes hold of you. And whereas if you're at home, the screen is so small that you're encasing it.
Yeah, it's not even that. Like you get distracted, right? Like
you get distracted.
Kids, if oh, my phone's ringing, or oh, I forgot to send that email to someone and I should have. Like
whereas in the theater, it helps cut out the rest of the world.
Yeah,
and I feel like Holy Mountain is one of those films that deserves to be seen in the cinema. Any final thoughts from you?
No, it's very influential though. Like watching it, I'm like, I've seen this before. Like I've seen this scene in this movie, or I've seen this. Oh, Kanye did this, or I've seen this somewhere else. Like it was one of those things. Like, hold on, like I'm pretty sure I've seen this somewhere. And I had to pause the movie and like look up where I saw it.
Yeah.
And then that was my
my
viewing experience of that movie. It was
you were like counting the references and where you like, oh, this is where this comes from. This film.
I was kind of doing my Pepe Sylvia like from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Charlie's characters got a board of all these different like links and references, and he's kind of figuring it out. And that's how I felt while I was watching it. I felt like that meme.
Yeah.
Like Pepe Sylvia. Oh, if I put it there, this is a Yeezus stage. Oh, if I put this there, this is like what he did with Donda, or what he did with
like there's like a there's like a, it may have been like a Rihanna video clip, or maybe like a Lady Gaga video clip, but there's one with like someone is sitting and there's two goats. There's two goats, and the alchemist has a goat next to him, goats next to him in his like little room thing out in like, it's so obvious that that's what they're referencing. And there's a whole that whole kind of
wasn't she wearing an alchemist outfit in one of her clips? Like one of her, it would have been one of her early ones, like when she kind of first popped, like
paparazzi,
or like it was that era of Lady Gaga. Like
it was that era. Yeah.
I think it was like
she clearly has, or whoever's directing,
or her director
has tapped onto that kind of that rich vein of creativity.
Because Lady Gaga is connected with fashion and pop culture, right? So there's also that sense of fashion within like what they were wearing. Like now, like that kind of robe is very high end fashion, like very Balmain or.
It is, especially now. I see it everywhere
like Balenciaga.
Now. Yeah.
Geez, I know fashion brands. I listen to rap music. I lived in New York. There's a community reference if you didn't pick up on that.
No, I didn't pick up.
You didn't pick up? That's what British says. I lived in New York.
I lived in New York.
I eat bagels.
Bagels. Yes, okay, now I know what you're talking about.
She calls
bagels.
If all we need is a scapegoat, maybe we should let this one play out.
You're worse than Batman.
Oh, you're the opposite of Batman.
You're the opposite of Batman.
You don't even know what that means.
You don't even know what that means. Oh man. Okay, so Holy Mountain. What a film.
I don't want to rate it because it's one of those movies like with it's like a Citizen Kane, where it's like it is what it is. It's a masterpiece.
You only gonna love it or hate it, like you said.
Yeah.
But there's also like a huge middle ground where you just like it doesn't care if you love it or hate it.
No,
it's like it's about you finding what you can take away from it.
Yeah, and because it's influenced so many things that I like it's given to the culture. Like it's like a cow, right? It's a cow that it's given us milk, it's given us like steak, it's given us other things.
Dairy.
Yeah, it's given us like cheese and butter. It's given us all these amazing things.
Take care of the meadow. It's given us income. It's fed my children. It's all of these. Like it's just one little lake that's that everyone has gone to drink from. Like animals, they've all come to this one lake to drink from.
And it's done its purpose, I say.
Yeah, Holy Mountain.
Also, whether that's as intentional or not, there's art.
What was that?
Whether that was as intentional or not to give us this cow.
Oh no, I don't think so. That's what's so great about that kind of artist. Because he's just like
it's like he grew this tree, right? He grew like an orange, or I don't know, what's it? An orange tree? That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like he grew this orange tree.
You don't know where oranges come from?
Yeah, it's a tree, right?
Yeah, it's a tree. Yeah, it's like a fruit tree.
Yeah, it's a tree. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Of course. You knew that.
Well, no one says I've grown an orange tree. I don't hear that.
It's kind of like it's like a bush or a tree.
I've heard a lemon tree.
Like lemons. Like lemon.
Yeah, my grandma's got a lemon tree. She had a lemon tree.
Okay, let's go back to how are you going to keep this
so it's like he's planted these seeds, right? And then over the years, it grew into this like magnificent orange tree where everyone's been able to grab the fruits, grab the orange, take a bite, and enjoy it. And then those seeds and those oranges, another person, another artist has been able to take the seeds out of the orange and then grow their own tree. And then, there's like a cycle of that. If that makes sense.
He's got that thing that like Alan Moore has. He's got this vision, and he's not going for like any kind of like financial gain or some kind of like fame or glory or something. But he's such a creative that he just like I have to do this thing.
I think
it's
a lot of good art. Yeah,
it's gonna be big, but it's gonna cost me a leg and an arm. But I have to fulfill this creative vision within myself, and it feels like a very pure kind of project. Yeah. And then when you put everything into it, your heart and soul, it's a big project like this. You can't help but see it like flourish out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Holy Mountain.
Well.
Yeah.
Here we are.
What a film.
So there's also another movie that we both watched recently. Ish.
Are we gonna cut this, or is it a double episode kind of thing?
No, we'll stop it. But the other movie that I wanted to just talk to you briefly was Licorice Pizza.
Okay, yeah. Licorice Pizza.
So I watched that movie last night. Wow. So at the moment, I'm watching all the best nominated picture movies, Oscars.
Yeah, if I was wearing a hat, I'd be tipping it off to you, my friend. I would not be doing that. Because I've actually already seen quite a bit.
You've seen half of them actually. Like
but that was intentional. I was just watching the films that were coming out, and
so I thought I'd remind the viewers of what's been nominated. If you don't know, if you do know,
take it back.
Thumbs up. So, Drive My Car, Nightmare Alley, Don't Look Up, Dune, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, The Power of the Dog, West Side Story, King Richard, and Coda. So I've watched Don't Look Up, Dune, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, obviously, King Richard, and Coda. So I've only got 4 more to go. I'm really excited. Because often the Oscars get it wrong. Sometimes they get it right, but
is the Tragedy of Macbeth on there?
No. King Richard is the that Will Smith, Serena and Venus Williams movie.
So it was nominated this year.
No, I think Denzel may have been, or even Francis McDormand, but the movie wasn't though.
What?
Also,
Why?
another very artistic movie, which
Yeah.
maybe very simplistic, like sets. So I don't know if that could have been influenced by Holy Mountain.
No, I think
Also, it had like in terms of the set, it had Citizen Kane vibes.
the heavy shadows, right? The heavy
Yeah.
shadows. I thought it had more connections to I believe it's a German expressionism with those long, like very simplistic, long shadows.
Yeah, even like the lines of the wall, it was very thick and broad.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We'll get back to Licorice Pizza. Sorry.
Wow, Licorice Pizza. So far, out of all those like best nominated movies I've watched, this is probably my favorite. It's a nice coming of age story about an actor, a kid actor, who falls in love with a photographer assistant who's a lot older than him. And I just like the whole, like the setting. It's like in the 1970s. It's like old school Hollywood now, I guess.
Mm.
There's a Lucille Ball type character. You know, so you know when they're doing he's doing their press for like that show, and he's like on like a talk show or something, and they do that little like song and dance with the bunk beds and stuff. That lady is like a Lucille Ball type, or Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
And apparently Lucille Ball was like that in real life, kind of like harsh.
Really?
And yeah. I haven't seen Being the Ricardos, but I want to watch that.
Lucille Ball, like Lucy.
Yeah.
I've seen Being the Ricardos. I thought it was the other way around. I know that.
But this was later on in her career, so she might have been jaded from the industry and stuff.
From that relationship, with Desi Arnaz.
But anyway, Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza. I had no doubt in my mind that this movie was going to be good. And
amazing
when I watched
soundtrack as well.
Oh yeah, great soundtrack. I was very satisfying film, very warm.
Yeah, it made you feel good. Like a lot of Paul Anderson movies. Paul Anderson?
Yeah. Paul Anderson.
That guy.
We're missing another name. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
That's the one. A lot of his movies are very like really dark. And
he's good at balancing. Like it's very down to earth.
Yeah,
very relatable.
This is a very grounded film.
The Haim girls are in there. If you're a big fan of Haim, the Haim girls are in there.
The Wire, the song, The Wire, not the TV show.
And I believe that's their real parents.
Yeah,
playing their parents in it.
And the sisters are her sisters. So Alana Haim
is playing this. She's a leading actress in that film.
Yeah, and
I thought she did a really good job.
This is her first acting role, like an amazing job.
Yeah,
I thought she nailed it. I thought the kid, the guy, Gary. I thought he I thought he nailed it. I thought he was really good.
Paul Thomas Anderson's got that kind of like, he's figured out how to make these characters very relatable, very down to earth. And what he does is it's not always positive and rainbows. There's a fun to it, but he's mixed the tragedy of everyday bullcrap we all have to go through, and the drama and the highs and lows, the ups and downs of life. He weaves them together. You don't get to joke about surviving the coming down the hill without petrol in your truck. You don't get to enjoy that survival thing without having to go through that fear of them reversing the truck down the hill.
Yeah. Also, amazing cast: Bradley Cooper, Sean Penn, Maya Rudolph, the waitress from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits
talks like this.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy over here.
It kind of an amazing cast. By far, that's my favorite that I've watched out of all of them.
That's one of the main reasons why I didn't bring it up. Like, we haven't like discussed it or made a whole episode about it. It's like when a movie is just too good and you kind of know it's already. I don't mean too good. I mean we both knew that the movie was going to do well because you can just tell by looking at first it's like Paul Thomas Anderson, but second just watching that trailer.
Yeah.
And then you watch the film, and it rewards you for your faith.
But it's also one of those movies, kind of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it moved my expectations. So I thought it was going to be a movie about one thing, but I got a completely different movie out of it.
Yeah,
which I enjoyed a lot more. Like from the time, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, this is going to be good. But then what I saw was like, this is great. Like I wasn't expecting all the things that happened in the movie.
I'm just thinking, like, oh man, there's a lot of like really good highs and really good lows. So like, you know,
but when you say low, you mean lows in terms of the story, not lows in terms of quality or.
No, yeah, the quality is good throughout.
Yeah,
it's a solid film. But I mean, like the drama and the story, where you know, there's this scene where like they both take turns of like trying to figure out the relationship. Is it going to work? Are we going to get back together? We're going to break up. We're going to fight. We're going to love each other. I'm going to see this one person, and I regret doing that. I'm going to come back to you. And then Gary goes and sees this other person, and he doesn't like that and goes back to her. And basically, it's just like it's the highs and lows of a relationship, while also having that coming of age. Like it seemed like a slice of life, like a real person,
like it was a slice of life,
like a real piece of this, like a story, you know, of a real person's life.
So if you've got nothing to do and you need something to watch, I highly recommend Licorice Pizza.
Yes, highly recommend. Please watch it. You should watch it like sometime this year.
And if you can watch it in the cinema.
Oh yeah,
I watched it at home as well.
Yeah,
and like
we couldn't. We were like, you know, there were some restrictions.
Yeah, we have our own. It is also like just timing.
Yeah, timing.
Like the convenience is just easier to watch it at home.
But yeah, really great film. I'm really getting into Paul Thomas Anderson's work. One of his films is one of my favorite films. Phantom Thread. It's one of my favorite films. So I'm kind of keen to go back to whatever he's done.
Yeah. Cool. Any final thoughts on Licorice Pizza before we wrap up?
No, it's a solid film. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's really, you won't be disappointed.
We talk like good movies and bad movies, and this episode has been mainly good movies, which is good.
Yeah, it's just good movies. We don't have any time for bad movies these days, man. No bad movies.
Or do we?
No. Maybe later on.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. Hit that subscribe bell.
This podcast.
All that other fun stuff. Like and follow us on Instagram. Links in the bio.
Yeah, comment about my beard. Is it getting too long? Does it need to be longer? Do I look like Alan Moore?
No one knows.
I'm Alan Moore. Real Reed Watchman.
On that note, I think we'll leave that now. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Catch you later. See ya.
Bye.